It's a good job all that glittered. WASNT gold for Bath Rugby on their first outing of the summer. They blew Bristol away in the opening 40 minutes of their first pre-season game, running in 5 tries and punishing every error the hosts made. Had the contest continued in the same vein, Todd Blackadder and co would have had very little to work on before the trip to Swansea to take on the Ospreys next Sunday. A 240 reverse in the second 40 minutes banished such thoughts as the rustiness that was masked early on reared its head. Everything you need to know about Bath Rugby's complicated hooker situation, but that's what pre-season games are all about. ISNT at the home of National 2 South clubs Clifton, Bristol started with the ambition and with teams coached by Pat Lam are known for. Jack Walker on the charge against Bristol. Imogen Johnson taking pictures. Sport Limited retaining the ball for about 15 phases. They worked their way from deep in their 22 metres into Bath's danger zone, only for an Ocon to cut them down before they could kick off with what would have been an excellent team try. Tom Vandal rolled back the years in the first half, getting plenty of ball on the left wing and causing plenty of problems for his opposite number, Jack Wilson. Bath scrum half Darren Allinson, in his first game since returning from London Irish, was arguably the sharpest player on the field though. When he wasn't marshalling his forwards with aplomb, he was sniping around the rucks and catching defenders napping with quick tap penalties. Josh Lewis scored the first points of his debut, slotting a simple tee from in front of the posts. He wouldn't have known it at the time, but by the end of the contest that penalty was the difference between the two sides. Zach Mercer scores against Bristol. Imogen Johnson taking pictures. Sport Limited. Bristol couldn't live with the visitors' pack power early on. They were shoved off pretty much every scrum, and by the end of the first quarter Bristol's triolist tighthead Alex Giltro had been replaced after being dominated by Nick Autorak. The pick and drive and mauling game which Bath had been working on over the summer was effective, and the latter tactic brought the opening try of the game when Jack Walker darted down. A siding break by Rory Jennings paved the way for the second score. When the inside centre burst into the Bristol half, he had the entire back row in support. After Josh Bayliss and skipper Matt Garvey carried, all Zach Mercer had to do was pick the ball up, hop over a ruck and dive over the try line. Allinson sniped from a quick tap to extend the lead, and he combined with Mercer to send Wilson over in the right corner for a spot of revenge once Busy Vandal had pulled off a smart finish. Josh Lewis kicks a goal on his debut against Bristol. Imogen Johnson taking pictures. Sport Limited. The hosts were rocking at 297 down, and it only got worse for them on the stroke of half-time. Young winger Charlie Powell allowed an Allinson box kick to bounce, and it bounced very badly for him. Bayliss snaffled the ball and offloaded to Matt Banahan, who had an easy run in. When Lewis added his fourth conversion, the visitors were 347 to the good and could have been forgiven for relishing over proper thrashing. But the third and fourth quarters provided Blackadder's men with the realization there is still plenty of rustinesses to rid themselves of. The defensive discipline and aggression of the early stages abandoned them. Pre-season friendly. Imogen Johnson taking pictures. Sport Limited. The passes that stuck started being dropped or poorly delivered, and there was very little fluency and momentum as Lam's Chargers made a real contest of it. Barking from the stands for an expansive game, his side mixed up width with inside breaks and offloads to leave the visitors ragged and blowing. Recap. Bath Rugby beat Bristol Rugby 3,431 at Clifton. RFC. Aaron Chapman, Lively, Jordan Williams and Dan Thomas all crossed for tries to fight back to 2,434. The inevitable substitutions didn't help Bath's cohesion, and they began to squander the close-range chances they had converted with ruthlessness early on. Beno Obano on the charge, with the help of Kane Palmer. Newport. Imogen Johnson taking pictures. Sport Limited. Darren Atkins had a start of the new campaign to forget, as he was sin-binned within a minute of coming on for Tom Homer for blocking a pass while retreating from an offside position. Sam Nixon, who had replaced Sean Knight in the squad after the former Gloucester tighthead tweaked his neck, thought he had scored his first try for the club. First 3 Bath Rugby United games will be played on weekends, not Mondays, as a driving maul flopped over the Bristol line. He pressed the ball down over his head, but the touch judge ruled that he was just short. Debutant James Phillips thought he had scored against his old club, but his joy was curtailed for a forward pass by Bath's third scrum half of the afternoon, Will Homer. Reece Priestland spreads the ball against Bristol. Imogen Johnson taking pictures. Sport Limited. The last say went to the hosts as they scored the excellent final try with the final play. Their sweeping attack started from a scrum 5 meters from the line. It ended with some deft offloads and a delicious switch pass finished off by new winger Luke Morahan. When Billy Sir allowed the extras, the hosts were within 3, but time was up for a contest in which both sides showed skill and mistakes. In many ways, it was a classic pre-season clash. Bath Rugby Supporters Club honour their heroes at annual awards supper. Bath Rugby T. Homer Atkins, Wilson Davies, Clark Priestland, Jennings, Banahan, Partington, Lewis, Allenson, Cook, W. Homer, Ortarak, Obano, Walker, Charles Palmer, Newport, Nixon, Stuke, Bayliss, Phillips, Charteris, Garby, C. Phillips, Bayliss, G. Mercer, Z. Mercer, subs not used, Tapuai, Davis, tries, Walker, Z. Mercer, Allenson, Wilson, Banahan, Cons, Lewis, 3 pens, Lewis, Sinbins, Atkins, Bristol, starting 15, Matt Prothero, Charlie Powell, Jack Tovey, Sam Bedlow, Tom Vandal, Ian Madigan, Ryan Glynn, Jack Cosgrove, Jason Harris Wright, Alex Giltro, John Hawkins, Joe Batley, Sam Jeffries, Ollie Robinson, Jordan Crane, C. Tries, Vandal, Chapman, Williams, Thomas, Morahan, Cons, Madigan, Sheedy, Searle, referee Tom Foley, Chronicle starman Darren Allenson.